In a crowded market of powerful laptops, the HP Omen 16 Max attempts to deliver an experience that provides performance, design, and thermal management. Three key areas that every laptop in 2025 should be able to handle. But I've had a chance to get my hands on a number of these powerful gaming laptops and have found that they've shown nominal improvements from 2024 to 2025. The HP Omen 16 Max is different. Now let's start with the heart, performance. The HP Omen 16 Max is powered by Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX, 24 cores, 24 threads, paired with the NVIDIA RTX 5090 with 175 watts of maximum graphics power. This machine was designed by the HP engineers to offer the absolute most untamed power possible without melting the system. And they call it Unleashed mode. So HP Omen Max allows users to manually control the laptop's power settings to maximize performance by overclocking the CPU and the GPU. This mode is accessible through the Omen Gaming Hub and is only possible due to the laptop's new cooling system, the Omen Tempest Cooling Pro, which I'll cover in just a moment. Now let's take a look at what it's capable of. For 1080p to 1080p exports in Premiere Pro, 43 seconds. For 4K to 4K export, 1 minute and 48 seconds on Unleashed mode, 1 minute and 51 seconds on Performance mode, and then even on Balance mode, it's still sitting at 1 minute and 53 seconds. So this thing is super snappy. And these are all 9-minute clips put into Premiere Pro and then exported out at full quality settings. For BRAW, it can export in 12 minutes and 15 seconds. Very quick time, gonna have no issues. Now, what amazed me most was the 8K playback. Full quality playback of 8K footage only dropped 2,748 drop frames. Even crazier, 8K red footage, only 12 drop frames. Now, 6K red and 6K BRAW, 0 drop frames. This thing is an absolute powerhouse and shreds through 6K footage and even 8K footage, something that was not possible even a year or so ago. But here's the catch. When you unplug this laptop from the charger, the export time increases dramatically. It took twice as long to export the same 4K clip when it wasn't plugged into the charger. For a device this powerful, it's a bit of a letdown, especially if you're someone who needs to get things done while on the go. Looking back at those export times, you can see in Balance mode, 1 minute and 53 seconds plugged into the charger, but then unplug the charger and it's 3 minutes and 55 seconds on Unleashed mode, and then 4 minutes and 6 seconds on Balance mode. So not the best on-the-go export times, considering how fast it is plugged into the charger. It's a significant trade-off for those who work off battery power regularly. That said, while it's disappointing, it's not a deal breaker for most creators who will likely keep this laptop plugged in during their heavier workflows. Now, this combo of Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX and RTX 5090 is super fast for Photoshop AI denoise, in line with the fastest devices on my channel in 2025. The general Puget Systems creator benchmark for Photoshop is in line with 2024 devices, which is all the performance you really need to operate a super smooth Photoshop session. However, you won't get bragging rights around your buddies that your benchmark score kills their 2024 benchmark score. Now, in addition to seeing the performance dips with the export times when unplugged from the charger, we also see performance dips of 60% in Photoshop when unplugged from the charger. I wish this performance was maintained. Probably my biggest complaint about the Omen Max is the dip in performance on charger and off charger. So as I said, the Puget Systems Photoshop benchmark, 8,227 on charger, 5,124 on battery power. Now, taking a look at 3D modeling, you can see for Autodesk 3ds Max, 393, PTC Creo, 441, Autodesk Maya, 622 killer score, and then SolidWorks, a 151. Very respectable scores for this device. Now, if you're curious about the exact pricing and availability, and of course, just the different models available, you can head down in the description below and click those links. If you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. You gotta remember, this laptop comes with an RTX 5090 and a 5080 and a bunch of different SKUs. So definitely check it out if you want to get the right combination for your needs. Now let's move on to the thermals and the fan noise. HP made some significant upgrades with its thermal design this year, and it shows. The Omen 16 Max features a new thermal chamber design, Omen Tempest Cooling Pro, and Cryo compound combination that's effective, very effective, during heavy workloads. I've tested several high-performance laptops in the past couple of weeks, and one of the biggest pain points is often the thermals and the fan noise during prolonged tasks. With this laptop, HP has done a fantastic job keeping it both in check on cool and quiet. On a 4K export, the laptop stays cool and relatively quiet, hovering around 41 to 43 decibels. And the temperatures stay between 53 degrees Celsius to 62 degrees Celsius. That's impressive for a laptop packing an RTX 5090 and the Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX. Even under load, you don't feel like the device is going to overheat. For most of my work, whether that's editing a 4K project in Premiere or running Photoshop for long hours, the Omen 16 Max operates at a very manageable noise level. In fact, I would describe it as quiet, especially compared to gaming laptops of the past. Just slightly above ambient room noise of that 33 to 37 decibels. But let's talk about pushing the system to the limits. When I switched it to Unleash mode to really test the limits, I saw the fan noise spike up to 65 decibels, and temperatures hit around 95 degrees Celsius. While this is a bit high, it's worth noting that this was a 6K export, and it was very fast and snappy for that 6K export. So for me, if I'm gonna be using this laptop on the day-to-day, and I'm like, okay, I finished my edit, now I'm gonna export it, it's gonna take about 10 to 12 minutes, let's pop it in Unleash mode, hit export, walk out of the room for a few minutes, get some refresh on my tea, come back, and it'll be exported, switch it back into balanced or performance mode, and then continue that cool, quiet operation during my normal workday. Now let's talk about where the system really excels. It gives you options. If you need to maintain a lower profile for less demanding tasks, you can easily toggle between eco mode and performance mode. These modes keep the fan noise in check and ensure that you are not pushing the system too hard unless you want to. However, if you're in a quiet room or need a quiet workspace, the balance mode is not the ideal mode I would choose, which really surprised me. It was kind of weird. It provided the loudest fan noise during a 4K export, along with the highest CPU temperatures, which I found, again, very odd. So personally, I'd stick with eco mode or performance mode if you're looking for a little bit more speed or a little bit more quiet. Now, can it last all day? That was Intel's big claim this year at CES, that the HX series was going to have improved battery life and improved efficiency. How does the battery hold up? Now, unfortunately, HP was not able to make a meaningful improvement in battery life with this year's model, which to me was a bit of a letdown. It has an 83 watt hour battery. It manages to last as long as its predecessor on battery power. So improved performance and thermals, but not an efficiency improvement to make the battery last longer, along with the former improvement of thermal and performance. So it did improve. The efficiency did improve. However, because we're pulling more wattage and more performance, hence a little bit faster export times, a little bit better 3D modeling, it kind of all balanced out. It didn't improve enough to overcome the performance and power consumption that it needed. In terms of real-world usage, streaming video, or working on basic tasks like web browsing or documents, you'll get around 6 hours. But any intense creative work, you'll be looking at more like 2.5, maybe 3.5 hours tops. Sleek, professional, and sturdy. One of the standout features of the Omen Max, compared to a lot of the different gaming laptops on the market that are so flashy and gamer-esque. The aluminum chassis is rigid and durable and doesn't scream gamer, which is a welcome change to a lot of devices. And if you want a laptop that can perform in a professional setting without drawing too much attention, but still has a lot of strong gaming DNA for the performance that you need, this is it. Unlike the flashy MSI Titan or the Strix Scar, the Omen Max feels refined, and the design is a bit more understated. If you turn off the RGB lighting, this laptop fits seamlessly into a professional environment. You can see the weight and thickness coming down the screen. This is not necessarily a light laptop. I love the choice of thicker, more sturdy aluminum materials on the top and bottom cover to make for a little bit more rigid design. It does add a little bit of weight, but the thickness is very nice considering this is packing an RTX 5090 and the Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX. I love how HP brought over the design of the Transcend into the Omen 16 Max. Man, I just love how the bottom cover fits into the side panel so nicely. You have these beautiful rounded edges. The vents all fit in without being like, again, so gamery, so stand out. Somebody like edges or curves, like it's all so smooth. Really like how they designed this device. We have the ventilation going on the bottom here, out the backside here, and even some ventilation along the side of both sides of the device, accomplishing the fantastic thermal results that we saw just a moment ago. HP has also brought over the Transcend 14 keyboard to the Max 16, and let me tell you, it's fantastic. Large shift keys, the numpad, And the travel on the keys are perfect for long hours of typing or editing. The key press is tactile, quiet, smooth. Oh man, the keys have like a nice matte finish on top. It just feels so nice to type on this device. Plus the RGB backlighting, in my opinion, is absolutely beautiful. Though, if you're not a fan of the flashy gamer look, you can easily set the backlighting to more professional white or simply dim it down. There's no compromising on this keyboard. It's one of the best keyboards I've used on a gaming laptop. And since it was released on the Transcend 14 and now it's on the 16, I continue with that statement. I absolutely love it. Now the trackpad is a little bit more understated than the keyboard. It fits very comfortably on the deck with a lot of spacing around it. It could have been a little bit bigger, but again, that's more of a creator gripe than it is a gamer gripe. Not a lot of gamers actually are using the trackpad, as we all know. You usually have a mouse to do your gaming on. But with the actual trackpad, from a quality standpoint, it's attached very well to the keyboard deck. No rattliness to it. It's quiet, but still has a nice confident click. Very good trackpad. Good design they've brought into the device here with this brand new redesigned model. Here's a sample of me using the keyboard and trackpad so you can hear them. Now let's talk about the display. The Omen 16 Max features a 16-inch display, 2560 by 1600 resolution at 240 Hz refresh rates. Now in terms of color accuracy, it has a delta E of 0.74, reaching 100% sRGB, 97% Adobe RGB, and 99% DCI-P3. Now, for those of you who aren't totally caught up on this, color gamut is the range of colors that the screen is able to reproduce, and the delta E is the accuracy at which those colors are reproduced. So anything below a 2 on the delta E is great. Anything below a 1 is just about perfect. Now the screen brightness is 388 nits, which allows you to work comfortably in most lighting environments, whether you're indoors or outdoors. The screen holds up well, and I never found myself struggling to see the details. I think maybe in extreme, like direct sunlight, you might lose a little bit, but overall, in my working scenarios, it did well. The Omen 16 Max also has some nice touches that shows HP's attention to detail. First of all, the RAM is upgradable. It should be stated on 16-inch laptops that would be without question, but I've seen some 16-inch laptops recently with soldered RAM, and it drives me crazy. Still have upgradable RAM here, because one of those soldered RAM devices is its little brother, the Transcend 14. So if you need more power in the future, you can easily swap out for larger RAM sticks and storage drives. You have 2 RAM slots and 2 M.2 slots available in this device. Now, a big killjoy for me on this device is Thunderbolt 4. With the availability of Thunderbolt 5 and this being HP's top tier gaming laptop, I'm shocked by their choice of Thunderbolt 4. This is not necessarily a horrible thing or like a terrible deal breaker, as there are way more Thunderbolt 4 peripherals in the market compared to the amount of Thunderbolt 5 peripherals. But in regards to future-proofing your device, very soon, Thunderbolt 5 will be a mainstay, and you'll be missing out on all of those incremental increased transfer speeds and data opportunities that Thunderbolt 5 allows. So although they skipped out on Thunderbolt 5, they did include a Gen 5 SSD compatibility. So this provides snappy read and write speeds for your M.2 drive within your system. But transferring in and out of the system could be bottlenecked by Thunderbolt 4. Just saying. So that would be one area I'm like, come on. Why did we do this? Now let's talk a little bit more through some of the user experiences of this device. There is a webcam along the top bezel. It has a manual cover that slides in front of the webcam. Here's a sample so you can hear and see for yourself. This is the webcam on the HP Omen Max 16, and a little sample of the audio for you as well. And for the speakers, you can see we do have speakers along the bottom of the device. And so let's see how much of a quality experience those speakers provide. Now, because this is a heavy device, opening and closing the lid is done easily with one hand. Now, one thing that happened in the past with a lot of Omens, though, is the screen bounce. Still pretty bouncy, but I would say that from years past, it bounces a lot less in the 2025 Omen Max than I saw in the 2022, 23, and even 24 models. So that is definitely improved, but still pretty bouncy. Now we have a nice selection here. Power adapter, network port, HDMI, USB Type A. On the right side panel, another USB Type A, and then on the left side panel, we have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports with a headphone jack. Does it have perfect ports? To me, since we're in 2025, it could have come with Thunderbolt 5. What are your thoughts? Now, another really cool thing about the new cooling design is not only have they done an improved thermal chamber with the cryo compound so it doesn't get hot and seep out everywhere, that'd be terrible, but they've set it up where it has an automated cleaning system for the fan. So basically every so often the cleans will spin in the reverse direction to clear a lot of that dust out of the system and keep your system from overheating and from wearing out over time. So really cool little touches on the Omen this year. And I think that's really what stands out to me most is so far they're the device to beat in keeping a system cool and quiet while still maintaining good performance and hosting pretty good battery life. Not great, not earth-shattering, but for a 16-inch gaming laptop, it's good. On top of that, we have a rigid design, a fanboy-worthy keyboard, solid trackpad, and a really beautiful panel that's color accurate and has good brightness. Now, punch for punch, I would say that if you're looking for something professional but also has the performance you need, the HP Omen 16 Max is a knockout of the park from HP. They did a really good job. Remember, there are links in the description below if you're ready to make a purchase, or click or tap the screen here for more videos to help you with your buying decision. I'll see you in the next one.